In the middle of the Arizona desert, a crowd of strangers meet for one.
These families and bringing you their stories. And we begin tonight with Daniel Robinson, a 24-year-old geologist living and working in Buckeye, Arizona. It is one of the westernmost suburbs of Phoenix. It's a low-lying desert valley, a resort spot that has quickly grown into a full-scale city. And it is where Daniel set off on a start for a job that he loved. He left work in Buckeye June 23rd. He has not been seen or heard from since. Puzzling clues, a crash scene that raises a lot of questions is what we know tonight. News Nation correspondent Nancy Liu is live in Buckeye for us, where she spent some time with Daniel's father. Nancy.
Marnie, it has been over 3 months since Daniel Robinson went missing. This is the area in Buckeye where his vehicle was found. This is remote. The terrain is extremely treacherous, and his family now wonders whether Daniel was really in that vehicle when it crashed here.
I have faith, and I really believe I'm going to have my son back alive.
David Robinson is on the biggest mission of his life. After serving 2 tours in the deserts of Afghanistan, the Army vet has no plans to leave the deserts of Arizona until he finds his 24-year-old son, Daniel.
Treat it like a mission. I keep saying it. I'm a professional soldier. I do my job and find my son. He's my son, I'm his father, and it's my job.
The job has been filled with frustration. Daniel is a geologist who works for a company analyzing sediments in the area for a well. He was last seen leaving the worksite in Buckeye on the morning of June 23rd. A month later, a rancher found Robinson's Jeep crashed in a ravine. His keys, wallet, and phone were in the SUV, but there was no sign of him.
And I think the first thing he would have done if he was in that vehicle is at least carry his phone with him. I couldn't imagine someone 24 years old won't be attached to his phone.
I'm leaning more towards, I don't think Daniel was in that vehicle.
The private investigator working with the Robinson family suspects foul play is involved. He says there are too many unanswered questions raised by data recovered from the vehicle.
The vehicle had 11 additional miles on it from the time the airbags deployed. It had 46 additional ignition cycles on it after the airbags deployed.
Jeff McGrath also notes red paint transfer on the right side of the Jeep.
The vehicle was tipped over on the passenger side, so there's no red paint in this area. So how that got there, that's why I'm saying that vehicle did not crash here. That vehicle was, its last place of rest was here, but something was going on with that vehicle.
The Buckeye Police Department refused an interview request, but provided its report in which coworkers said Daniel made odd comments about needing rest before he left the job site that morning. His father describes Daniel as always friendly and well-adjusted since his birth without a right hand.
He don't wear prosthetics, you know he was born without a hand, and he don't wear prosthetics. His mom tried to get him to wear it. No, Mom, I want to, be who I am. And that's just Daniel. He was living his dream. He became interested in geology when his first year in college, his freshman year. He took a class, and that just set it off,
Just like the Gabby Petito case, internet sleuths are also at work on this one.
Just seeing the way the car was, the Jeep was, and the evidence, to me, it actually does support foul play.
Brian Watts hosts a mystery and adventure show on YouTube. A recent episode featured Daniel's disappearance.
After I then got lots of comments from people in and around that area that said, yeah, there's crime, carjackings that happen all the time, and it's bad. It's something that they're aware of.
The search for Daniel forges on, and this man on a mission will remain in Arizona until there are answers.
I don't know what to think anymore. Just going to keep watching and keep on searching. Good morning, everybody. I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson that went missing from his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona on June the 23rd, 2021. I'm here to do a Q&A this morning for everyone who's been here in support of my son and my family, in this case, to find out what happened to him. And I really thank you all for coming out this morning to share your time and your morning with me and to come with your questions. Like I said, today, the Q&A is all about your questions and awareness and also support. I really thank you guys for doing that. Today, I'm feeling pretty decent today. It was a little difficult the other few days. It was always hard when after the desert searches and city distribution. That's all the efforts and stuff during the week, trying to locate my son, try to keep everything going. It's been 8 months since my son went missing. It's been 8 months of efforts by myself and by you guys. So I really appreciate everyone that's a part of this and has been helping out. Again, for those who are new, I'm David Robinson, father of geologist Daniel Robinson, went missing on June 23rd. He's last seen at his work site by one other person that was at that well site with them. They was together for almost 10 minutes before I was told that my son pretty much waved off, got in his vehicle, drove out further west in that desert out there, on the remote part of the desert where he was never seen again to this date. Almost 30 days later, the vehicle showed up like here on this picture behind me in that ravine there. There's a 20-foot ravine. It may look flat on the picture, but it's a 20-foot ravine out there on July the 19th. It was found by a rancher who was out there 2 to 3 days prior of the 19th, and the vehicle wasn't there. He came back again, looked for his cattle. He's out there searching for his cattle to track them down and corral them to send them to a corral that's south of this location here. He came back through there on the 19th, and he saw the vehicle sitting there. He alerted the police officers, the Buckeye Police Department, that the vehicle that they were looking for. By that time, of course, I was having a little local news coverage, and he said that he recognized that vehicle from the news station, alerted the police department, and we're going from there. As you know, I've been here since June the 26th, searching for my son. I came quickly once I learned on almost 3 days later. Well, I learned the next day after my son went missing on the 24th that they were not going out in that desert to look for him. The word that was given to me personally was that my son is a grown man and he can disappear if he wants to. So that prompted me to, gather everything I had and put in my vehicle and start heading this way. It's important that I do so, and I think any parent would do the same. You hear news like that, the people that's supposed to serve and protect, and you're thousands of miles away from your child. Some people, I know he's a grown man, but he's a child to me. You hear that, you lose it. I lost it, got everything I had, and started headed out here west. I made it here on the 26th of June, and I've been here since, searching for my son. And I've been here also because of the help of you guys. You guys have been so gracious to support me in many ways, support me in the searches, you support me in signing that petition to try to put pressure on the Buckeye Police Department. You guys have been making a lot of phone calls. You guys have been donating to the GoFundMe, and you guys have been coming out to the desert and city searches at the time. So all that is a combination of why I'm still here on the ground, boots on the ground. Of course, I was going to be here anyway. I'm a father like that, even if I had to do it by myself, but you guys made sure I didn't have to. So I'm really grateful for each and every last one of you. And to do so, like I said, I decided to do this Q&A to, give everybody the opportunity to ask questions. They're invested in this case. They're just as much invested in the case as I am as a father and my family. And, try to give you answers to the best of my abilities to what's really going on in this case here. And so I invite all your questions. If you have those, please, as you do every morning, put a letter Q there or the word question before you ask your question. That way, when I'm going down the comment section, I can recognize your question. So thank you so much again for being here. You see the tip line on the bottom of the screen. You see the tip line behind me. For those who have a tip, may have known and seen anything, heard anything, you have a tip line here. You have a tip line on the bottom of the screen. You even have a tip line if you guys go down the interstate on I-10. I think I-17 also, you'll see billboards out there with the same information in case you leave this Q&A and you forget the number. So if you're out here in Phoenix, so you can call that number 24 hours, 7 days a week. There's live operators that will take your call, and you can stay anonymous if you like. And if you do not like to talk to anyone, you want to be alone when you're trying to give a tip, you can also text the word tip to this number, and they'll take you to the form. You can stay anonymous there also. And also, if you want to leave a message for me and get a correspondence back, you have the option to do so. And you can stay anonymous. I won't know who you are, but I can answer your question. However, if you want to go even further, I want to back up too and say that tip line number is just for tips, not for comments or, suggestions and things like that. So if you please can hold those to the number I have down here at the bottom. It's a public cell phone number that I use that you guys can leave your comments, other tips. If you want to leave an anonymous tip there, you can too. I can't say you'll be anonymous because I can't provide you that with this phone number. But if you use it like a burner phone, of course. But if you guys just leaving your number, of course your number will show up on that phone. So that's a cell phone. And so if you use this number, you can contact me to do anything like give well wishes to a tip. So actually, you guys in the media and want to contact me, you can use that number, things like that. So I will be checking those. Sometimes it takes me a while because I do get an influx of text messages every day and phone calls, and sometimes it takes me a while to get to them. So bear with me if you do. I apologize it takes too long, but I will answer your text. Many will tell you that. Okay. Also, you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, where you get all the information you need from how you can help by signing that petition. Again, that petition is very important because everything I'm doing here with the forensic work that needs to be done on that vehicle, all the things that my son had at that scene, all that had to be processed. And when I finished putting everything together with my timeline and everything, I gather all the facts and all the things that I know from my personal investigation, all that we put together in the packet, and I was sending that to the Attorney General's office and departments like that. So that'll give me some backing of the people, and I really appreciate you guys if you go on there and sign that petition. You can do it multiple times. We have multiple email addresses. I encourage that. So I need those numbers on that also. And also with the pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, you can find like the current events. Like I'm having a candlelit vigil that's coming up on 23rd this Saturday. If you guys please, if you be out here in this area, or you can travel out here to get here on Saturday at 6:30 it starts. I need the numbers. I really need people to come out because it shows the present and make a statement to the department and to the world that we know we're standing together against things like this that's happening. My son is my son, but he also is an American son. It happens to a lot of families that don't even have a voice. And so you guys come out and show solidarity to that. What's happening to a lot of people in this country, not just my son, but bringing a highlight to my son's case also. But I do ask you to go on the website and please RSVP, because that way I can know how many people are showing up and how many ribbons and candles to have available for you. So like I said, there's a candlelit visual, and I would like you guys to have that. So thank you. Please go and do that. So I appreciate that. Also on that, pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, there's ways you can help by donating. The GoFundMe is there. I do not have the Cash App. Some people are asking about Cash App because they don't like the fees that come out of GoFundMe, and they want different ways to donate. You can find a Cash App on the Twitter account. Please help find for Twitter. You can find that there, and also like I said, the GoFundMe is there on the pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. I really appreciate your donations. That would kept me here for 8 months in this fight, and it kept me getting things like this, the flyers to the billboards to the equipment out for the desert, you name it. all this has been funded by my funds and also yours. And I'm really grateful for you guys helping me to be here on Ground Zero. Also, with Please Help Find Daniel.com, you can also find ways how to come out in the desert search to help the specialized searchers out there, operations. Right now, I streamlined the searches to save funds because I'm trying to gain funds to get this forensics work done on everything. And so we'll show you ways to how you can come out there to help search for Daniel. As you know, it's been 8 months, like I said, and this point is not a rescue mission anymore; it's a recovery. If my son is out there in the desert, he do need to be brought home to me and my family. And I appreciate you guys for helping me out to do so. We found human remains out there doing the same things we're doing now, bringing closure to some other families, which I'm grateful for. But that's part of being out there on the ground. These line searches that we do is very important because it's very, we can see detailed search where we can see things on the ground and find clues and things like that. So it's important with the numbers. The numbers is getting lower, and I'm asking you guys, if you can, please, on a Saturday, if you can spare, to come out there to the searches. It really helped me with the numbers, and we can get these areas clear. People wonder why it takes so long because it's a large area. We always have areas that could be searched and need to be searched. Some have to be searched multiple times, at least twice, and that's because of the terrain and things like that. You can miss things. So you can miss a bone or a button or whatever that may be related to what happened to my son in that area. So we do need the numbers there, need more eyes on the ground and things like that. We need more drones and stuff for the area above, and just need dogs. We need all of it. We need everything we can get out there. We need other people with nonprofit organizations. Nonprofit organization. If you're out there, please by all means, we need you out there on the searches also. I have also the city distribution to pass out these flyers that you guys helped me by your donations to provide all these flyers that goes out to now New York, and one in Colorado has people out there that just distribute these flyers out too, to bring awareness everywhere. My goal was to first to the homeless population here in Arizona, and then expand it to cover all the cities here in Arizona. And I'm getting successful at doing that. You guys coming out, grabbing these flyers, taking them back home, taking them back to your cities, and spreading them out. Like I said, I'm able to now send some out through mail to people who want it. So if you guys want to pass out flyers and help, please, like I said, use that 803 number. Contact me and I'll get your address or things like that. And I'll put that number back up again. You have the address and I can send these flyers, but that's important for awareness. And because you believe it or not, I have people here in Arizona, everywhere I go, that have never even heard about my son's case, but yet I have people in the Netherlands, one person in particular, people in Africa, people in Australia, they heard of the case and praying for me and my family. But I have people right here locally that didn't know, and nobody could say anything or come with a tip or anything like that without knowing. If you don't know, you can't say anything. So it's really important to get these flyers out, get the awareness out, try to keep the media keeping my son's name out. And that's one thing good too for this candlelit visual, hopefully to bring some media coverage to keep my son's name out there. The flyers help. Social media help when you guys like, share, and subscribe to this channel, for instance. That helps, getting the word out to more people. So I'm trying to every angle I can to get the awareness out there, because we need the awareness. The awareness put pressure on that department to do something, and don't let the story just get brushed under the rug, And I will feel, my opinion, a department would like that, just like for this to go away. And we're not going to let that. It happens too many times. There's a lot of families out there now suffering because their loved ones have not been heard or seen. Also, on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, you guys can find other ways to help. For those who cannot come to see the searches, and those who want to be here to help some type of way but can't, just go there for other ways. You can volunteers on that tab there and fill out that form, and so we can know your skill sets and things like that, me and my team. And that way we can, better guide you to how you can help in this cause, because this cause is bigger than just me and my family.
and Daniel is also about other families. And so our goal is to have avenue there to help other families also who may be going through and who will be going through the same thing me and my family are going through. So it's a process, long process to get a foundation up here. I'm doing the Daniel Robinson Foundation. So I need things like that. If you guys can help, I really appreciate that. Also, lastly, on the pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, you guys can get all the information you need from what I'm doing in the day, like where we're meeting at for the searches and things like that. You can hear little updated information. I will update the website soon for add a little bit more content to this whole entire case, so you can understand that. Again, my name is Dave Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson, who went missing on June 23rd. Thank you guys for being here for this Q&A, and I'm here to answer your questions. I'll get to it. I'll go down the timeline. I want to thank everybody who's been here, like you knew. Thank you for being here and being the moderator in the background. The mystery Haven, thank you so much for coming out. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you, Lauren, for being here. I really appreciate you being here early this morning. I really appreciate that so much. Also from YouTube, Tanya Beth, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Stasa, if I say your name wrong, I apologize. Thank you for being here. Sassy, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And also Sarah, again, thank you for being here. Thank you, Gisela from Grizzly True Crime, for being here. Good morning to you too. I really appreciate you being here. You've been a very tremendous help in the background. People don't know how much you actually do, but you do a whole lot. And I appreciate things you do on your channel and your passion that you do for people. And I really appreciate that. Also, thank you, Gwen, for being here, being a moderator, because like, share, and subscribe. And I'm really grateful for you being here to help me. Amber, thank you for being here. Thank you and hello. Also, Lakeisha, thank you for being here. And thank you for all your hard work that you do out there in the city distribution. We put out those flyers. You were doing it all, not just on Saturdays, you do it all through the week. So I'm really grateful for you being part of that team. Thank you so much. Tanya, thank you for being here. If I say your name multiple times, I'm just going down the timeline. I might hit you up again. But I thank you so much for being here. See, here's go. Thank you, Sophia, for so fresh smells for being here. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for all your hard work in the background, and that people don't know your hard labor. And I really appreciate everything you do to help the cause go forward. I think I got you, Amber, but thank you again for being here. Thank you again, Sarah, for being here this morning through YouTube. Thank you so much for being here, Mochi. Bear, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. You coming out. Thank you, Pamela, for coming out. I'm throwing your names up here, and I'm really grateful for each and every last one of you. Leslie Beats, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time and your efforts coming out every morning to share your time with me. Thank you, Sarah Moore, for being here. I really appreciate that, coming on through YouTube. I think I had you up before, but thank you again. I do see your question, Pamela, and I will come back on the questions. And I see your questions too. Also, the Mystery Maven, thank you so much for being here. I will come back down the timeline again and get to your questions. Thank you, Jitterbug, for being here this morning. Thank you, Ashley, for being here. Good morning to you. Thank you, Ashley. I really appreciate it. Thank you for signing the petition. I really appreciate that. Ashley Oaks, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you taking your time out to show love. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Lois. Thank you so much for being here. Again, I see you the other morning. You say, yeah, the Charlotte, North Carolina, you're close to home. Thank you so much for being here from North Carolina. I really appreciate that. Also, my name is Dave Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson, and I'm doing this Q&A to bring awareness to my son's case, and also to answer your questions for those who has been you guys have been a help to this case. You have questions, and I would like to provide those answers. And if I don't know the answers, I will be honest and tell you I don't have those answers to those questions. If there's anything that's impeding on my personal investigation, or well, I don't see Buckeye even having the investigation, but into my personal investigation, I will keep that and let you know that I won't be able to answer those questions, but answer other questions that you have, and make sure that you have those answers that you need. So those who had questions last time I was on, yes, I hope you have those questions again, because I want to get back to them, and I apologize if I missed your question. I'm going down timeline now to look for those cues and the word question, so that way I can find you. So I'm trying to remember who it was first. I said I was going to come back. If I miss you, please ask your question again. Don't forget to put the letter Q there or the word question before you ask the question. Then I can actually see your question easier. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Dave Robinson, father of geologist Daniel Robinson that went missing on June 23rd. Okay, I think I have a question here. I see a Q, but I'm not sure. Okay, let me start here. All right, for Sarah Moore, I am an advocate on Instagram, and I have been posting about your son since August of last year. I need to know what else I can do to help, if any. I'm a writer. Thank you so much for asking that question. If you guys want to help, please go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, and on that site you'll find the tab for other ways that you can help. A lot of people like yourself want to help but can't be here and things like that. So we definitely need you to fill out that form if you can. Get your skill sets, and my team, we would definitely need your help in a lot of ways. So I really appreciate you asking that, and that's ways you can help. Also, from afar, you can sign a petition, of course, like you have, and I really appreciate that. Sign a petition, and also, the donate. You can help with that way. And I know the city searches and the desert searches, and also the city distributions are things that most people can't do because they can't get here in the city. So, like I said, just put those skill sets there. They'll help better, because I am building a foundation and doing other things also outside of just searching for my son. So I really appreciate you guys' help, because we want to help other people too, other families, along with helping my family find my son. So thanks so much for that. I have a question from the Mystery Maven. Has EchoSearch been involved? No, they have not been involved. I did reach out to Dave Rader some time ago, some months ago. He did explain to me that my son's case didn't fit their profile, but to their credit, they did refer me to another nonprofit who I spoke to, who has specialized drones that I can use out there in the desert. Like I told you guys, I can utilize all of that kind of equipment, things I can't really get. I want to provide that for the searches, and I had to be careful with the monies to keep everything rolling and going. So I was unable to purchase those specialized drones on my own, but I did have them to reach out because I reached out to them because of a referral from EchoSearch to speak with these folks. And I did that. I also included them in a letter that I sent to the Buckeye Police Department, Chief Larry Hall, requesting them to come out on a Saturday, the last time they've been out here this year, to one of my searches. And those guys weren't able to make it because they staffed, and they was low on staff that morning. But I am still waiting and willing to work with them in the future. They said they would. I'm still waiting on their call. So I'm willing to work with anybody who's able to help me in my situation to find my son. So I am reaching out to a lot of these nonprofit organizations. A lot of them either, I guess, like I said, EchoSearch says I don't fit their profile in this case. We don't fit their profile. So I don't know what that really means, but that's what the case is. And so I'm just waiting to see. Thanks so much for your question. Also have a question from Pamela. Thanks so much, Pamela, for coming on YouTube. Can you only sign the petition one time? No, you can do it multiple times if you have multiple email addresses. So it works by the email address. If you have multiple email address, you can definitely sign it more times. So I really encourage that, because I need those numbers and the backing of the people. So you guys, you want a stronger signature, saying, yeah, you can do it multiple times. And, so even those who I believe from other countries, if you want to sign a petition, thank you. Thank you. You got your email address. I believe there's no restriction. I'm not sure. I can check into that. I said I was going to check into it once before. That slipped my mind. I think I had someone asked that before. They're from another country and wanted to. So I want to see the guidelines of that. So I'm checking to that. But as for now, I can say try. So try that also. But yeah, I need those numbers, and I really appreciate you guys signing that petition. You can find that on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com also. Next question will be from Sarah Moore. Has anyone questioned the last individual to see Daniel yet? And that's the problem for me. That's all the Buckeye Police Department did, as far as I know, is they questioned the guy. They didn't interrogate or follow up and things like that. Some information there that I provided for that department that this gentleman said to me personally, and in front of 2 other witnesses that was with me. And they have yet to put that in the report or to question the gentleman about those things that I told the detectives what was told to us. But yeah, they can put things in the report that somebody else said, like the young lady, her bias, a one-sided and hearsay. They put that into their report. So I'm waiting for that. If they need to question them more, which I think everybody should be questioned more. Like I told you before on this Q&A, I don't rule out anybody or anything. So everybody is suspect to me, and then they need to be questioned. Anybody who was involved at the time my son was missing, they need to be questioned again. So yes, hopefully that will happen. As far as I know, it's just a question. Hey, look, what you said happened, what you think happened, or what you think what happened that day. Guy made a statement. They put in a report, and they drafted this whole narrative of what happened to my son based on that. There was no question what happened to my son. Days prior, there wasn't nothing done at the first well site that he went to. He went to multiple well sites. People should know that too. He went to one well site early that morning, different one that's south east to where he was last seen. Then he went to, like I said, that last well, the second well site where he ended up missing. So so they did ask questions about that a little more, but I'm waiting on it. They can't get it done. I have my private investigator to do it. Question: would it help to hand out flyers in other states? Yes, it really do. I only could get the media, the news media, to push on it, but so much. If it's a story, and the hype of a story, news medias work like that. The local news work like that. They look for stories. It's not really a really big thing for a person to really be missing. Media is what I've learned is they geared to what it could sell at the moment, and once it start get something everybody heard before, they look for something else new. It's never because every time I talk to the news media, they'll say, "Hey, you got to update. What's new?" They care, I can say, but they may not really care that Daniel's missing. It's more of what's new, so I can sell a story and put something up there to get a site and get more views or something like that. So you guys doing things like I put these flyers up, to putting things on the car, to the billboards, to you guys asking for these flyers to take in different states and stuff like that and spread awareness. That's one way of doing it. Word of mouth is a lot better and a lot stronger than some of these other avenues of passing the word out. So if you guys need these flyers, of course, I have to produce more. I produce them, get them made in bulk, 6,000 at a time. So, you guys want to have flyers, I can send them out to you and things like that. And that would help, passing them out to other states and in your cities and bringing awareness. I need all the awareness I can get for my son's case. They may be somebody out there who left that day, was leaving that morning when my son was missing. They saw something, but now they live in Washington, D.C. or something, or they're living in New York, or now they live in Florida, and they haven't heard anything about the case. But when they get those flyers, something to jog their memory, and they can call the anonymous tip line that I'm putting right here on the bottom of the screen, and also behind me. They can call that anonymous tip line and say something and hear something because they heard something. So yeah, it's important to put those flyers out and awareness out as far as I can. So also, you guys, again, thank you, Gwen, for reminding me. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button here, because it helps me get the word out also through the algorithms on YouTube. So please, if you have somebody that tell them to subscribe to this channel, like and share. That way, get the word out all over the place. So all that is important. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you again. You knew for putting that up there. Also, the like, share, subscribe. Thank you for reminding me. That's very important. Of course, I'm still keep saying, "Oh, I'm new at this YouTube thing." I can't say that anymore. But sometimes I do forget to ask you guys to do that. So I have another question here again from Louise. I hope I say your name correctly. Strickland, Miss Strickland. How about that? Do you have any new updates after the Sunday search? Thanks. Well, no, not really new updates, but I can tell you that I was able to successfully remove a tire that was impeding on one of the wells that I would have searched. I didn't get it done yesterday, but hopefully I get this call this morning from the team that's going out with me to inspect these wells. The owner's getting these free inspections, and at the same time, it allows me to see what's down in those wells. And we're gonna look under the waters, and that's in this well. So that's some of the things that's that happened very good. Come out of the search. Also, I was able to gather some information and evidence from the week. I had someone out there during the week with his cadaver dogs and his search dogs. And so I have some information from that can help me with my investigation. And I'm gonna get those items forensically checked also eventually. That's probably one of the last things I do outside of getting the stuff done first. Like I said, the cell phone is going off to a lab. That's one of the first things. And the rest of the remainder of these things will be going off somewhere and get checked. So that's the updates I have on that. Now I can tell you the searches have dwindled down. That's a little depressing and downside for me to the realization that hey, look, it's been 8 months. People may start slowing a little. That's a little hard part because like I said, I don't have that luxury that I'm going to walk away from my son. I think any parent, anybody, one of you guys would do the same thing I'm doing. And it's no one can say, hey, look, give you a timeline on your child when you're going to stop looking for them. So, and that's not a timeline for me. And it's not a moment where I would say that to myself because my son is important. I know your child will be important, your loved one. You are important. So, don't want anybody to give up on you. One thing I did learn from my days in the military, you do not leave anyone behind. And I'm not going to leave my son behind. That's definitely not going to happen. So thanks so much. Again, we got the candlelight vigil that's coming up this Saturday. And if you guys can please come out, I really appreciate that. Come out to this candlelight vigil. I need the numbers, and it makes a statement. If you're out there, you're not doing that Saturday at 6:30, and you come down there for an hour to an hour and a half, please, by all means, do so. I really need these numbers. We're going to have a great time standing together and making the statement in prayer. We're going to have song, and we definitely going to hear, you're going to hear a message from myself and three other speakers. So thank you so much. All right. Now, the next question from Unu. Thank you, Unu, for everything you do in the background again that people unaware may or may not be aware of. All your hard work in the background. So I really appreciate that. The question is, have you posted flyers at Walmart in Buckeye, Arizona? I have not personally posted any flyers out there, but there are a lot of volunteers that have. So hopefully they are at the Walmart there. I was told that, at the Walmarts to some of the local stores there, because they don't ever have that much in Buckeye, but I did hear that they pass out flyers in those locations and things like that, especially the little like coffee shop, mom and pop coffee shop type places. I've been hearing about those too. People been posting those, so I'm really grateful for them. So yes, if the people live out there and they want to continue to get these flyers and pass them out in those areas, tack them up on, I guess, poles or something, that'll help out also. I wish I could get a billboard put up there. I'm not sure. I talked to Lamar, the fathers I was getting out from the east side of Phoenix. I-10 is a busy interstate. And so I got it from the east side of Phoenix to the west side of Phoenix, billboards going up to Buckeye. So hopefully, people can get awareness that way also. So thank you for that question, I really appreciate it. I have another question here for Shiro's Nation. Thank you so much. And for everything you're doing, and also for coming out on YouTube to ask your question. Did the PD search for Daniel at any of the monasteries? If they didn't, it only confirms they don't even believe something as bogus as that. Well, I don't know if they did, but I have. They have a monastery that's not too far from where this vehicle was found. And when I say not too far, it's several miles. Of course, it's so far you can't walk there. I wouldn't imagine a person walking there, but you can go off of Sun Valley Parkway and go up 2 Essex, go out west 2 Essex, where you got to drive down some time to get to this monastery that's not too far. So from that point, so that monastery was searched. When I say search, I was there to find out about if even though I don't believe that I can say that bogus comment from that detective, but that monastery was actually closed because of COVID during the time. So that's one thing I learned from that. So I don't know anything else other than that with the in terms of Buckeye, what they did. But I do know that monastery was closed. No one was there. That's all because of COVID during the time when they had the restrictions going on. So thank you for your question, and I really appreciate it. All right. Thank you, New, for pointing out the questions from Louise. I think I have that one. Let's see here. Again, my name is Dave Robinson, father of geologist Daniel Robinson. If you have questions, I'm doing this Q&A for you all to answer your questions. I ask you to please, if you have those questions, to put the word question there first, or a capital letter Q, so I can actually go down the comment section and see your question. I can answer those questions, and it'll be a lot easier for me. So thank you so much for your questions. Have one from Leslie Beats. Thank you so much again for being out here every morning from Facebook. I really appreciate your time. Is there a particular area out there in the desert that gives you a feeling you are getting closer to finding Daniel? Maybe in an area you have searched more than once or would like to search again. I know this may be a tough question. Yes, there are areas that concern me, and those areas are always related to where the vehicle's found and also where he was last seen. All the area in that vicinity bothers me because my logistic / search coordinator when we make plans every weekend on our meetings, trying to make sure we cover every spot of that desert that we may have missed through the line searches and through the other searches that I have out there. It bothers me. It bothers me because you go over one area one time, and then you go over again, and then here it is, you found the human remains. It happened before. We had searches where we searched these areas when we missed something, missed a bone or something, so it can happen. And so, it do worry me that, maybe, something could have been missed. But like I said, everybody worked so hard and we looking so well, I'm feeling somewhat confident that some of these areas that we search, I can somewhat feel comfortable that Daniel's not there. Like I said, there's always a room to say that, we're human. It's always possible to miss something. So yeah, it's always that thing in the back of your head that, hopefully you didn't miss anything. But yeah, some areas that we can't even access, some private land and things like that still have room to be looked at. So in that area, so getting access to those things, still working on it. It's hard to get with these some of these ranchers to do so. Have volunteers who have taken upon themselves to get in these areas. So, but asking to do line searches and things like that, organized, yeah, it takes a lot of permission to get those things done. So yes, there's some areas like that really bother me a lot. So thank you for your question, Leslie, again, and thank you so much for being here. I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson, that went missing out in Buckeye, Arizona. And he went missing on June the 23rd, 2021. Story is that he was at his work site with one other gentleman. They only been there a little under 10 minutes. And my son decided after a brief conversation that he was wanting to leave. He waved off to the guy, got his vehicle, waved at him and drove off. According to the guy at the well site, he followed the tracks. The tracks indicated that my son went out further west, went out further in the desert, going west out into the desert where he was never seen again. About almost 30 days later, the vehicle right here, my son that he was driving, was found in that ravine. Almost 30 days later, only about a little over 3 miles from that work site, out there in that remote area of the desert. Everything he's wearing on his body is right here on the ground. All down to the underwear and socks. So everything was on the ground. His boot, his cell phone was inside the vehicle, and things like that. So a lot of things been left behind, and we still haven't had any answers to what happened to my son. According to that police department, my son did this to himself. He took his clothes off and and walked off naked somewhere because he had a severe head injury, which made him shred his clothes, and he hid up on a tree or something, or one suggested that he went off to be away from his family and join a monastery to become a monk. So ridiculous things like that. Things that didn't make sense, of course. I kind of go off the hinge when I talk about it because it bothers me still to this day, is hearing that they can actually say things and believe things like that. My son would take his clothes off. Now, it's one thing to have changing clothes, and you say, hey, maybe he changed his clothes, but why would you take your underwear and your socks off to just put a new change of clothes on? So I don't think he was carrying underwear in his vehicle. So why would you do that? So things like this don't make sense. But to that department, it does. It's easier to throw my son's case under the bus, just like a lot of these other cases things that happen to other families, but they ran into the wrong father from South Carolina. I'm not saying other families don't love their child, but I love my son, and I'll do anything for him, and I'm gonna make sure that he get his due justice. So that's the reason why I'm so very passionate about it. And they ran to the wrong person who asked questions. I have no problem asking the question to the police department, question authority, anything else. I don't take what they write in a report. I can write something in a report, so that don't mean it's true. And so I ask questions about everything. And I can tell you, once I get my timeline together, you will understand why that report is something that is wrote. And a lot of things, in my opinion, is not factual. So you'll see the reason why. All right. Lawrence, thank you so much for being here, also from YouTube, with your questions. I really appreciate you coming out, taking your time. What information or investigation done on the Jeep box data? Car driven 11 miles plus after airbags deployed, started 40 plus times after the crash. Yes, all those things you said was true. It was started over 40 sometimes. I've got the exact number. I think it was 46 times after the initial crash. It also, yes, after the airbags were deployed. It also was driven 11 miles after the airbag deployed. The crash data on the black box, if you call it that, crash data box or whatever, it I forgot the exact name, but it was pulled by the Buckeye Police Department. However, they again didn't see no seriousness in my son's case. I don't doubt that they even read it. They just pull it, just have it on record, but they couldn't have read it because they turned over all that to my investigator when I got one. Hey, here you go. Just like they gave me my son things and evidence bag for safekeeping, saying to my son, after all of this, gonna come back and get his things. After they say they believe he had some head, even if they say they believe he had a head injury and shred his clothes off, he was endangered basically. But yeah, he gonna come back and get his things. That's what they believe because they gave me his things, marked for safekeeping. That's to show you how they care. They gave my investigator their data where they pulled from the black box because they didn't care, in my opinion. So they gave them the data and they just didn't know what they had. My investigator read that data to them. He's an accident reconstructionist, and that's what all the 11 miles and how many times the vehicle cycle was cranked after that initial airbag deployment, and all that come from that data that Buckeye pulled. So they can't say somebody else pull it; they pull it. So, and that's where he get it from. And then he also was able to get more information about the time and things like that from pulling that infotainment system out of that vehicle and had it analyzed in California. So that's what a lot of that happened for. So yeah, it's a lot of data there. There's a lot of information. I think it's over 800 or 900 page report that I have supposed to have a copy of that my former investigator left me. I'll look at the files again and make sure that's what he gave me, and have somebody else to read that again and go over those things, because there's a lot of data there. So yes, thank you so much for your question about that. There's a lot of information that's still that we can go through in terms of the investigation on the data that came from that vehicle infotainment system, and also the crash data. So thank you, Note, for the I see Dave Razine. I smile. You guys don't know this is my battle buddy. We served together in my unit, Afghanistan, and happy to see you here, brother Racine. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here this morning. That made my morning to see some of my battle buddies out here. Saw Brown out here also one morning. So I'm really grateful you guys coming out to support me on this Q&A and support my efforts and to finding my son. I was looking for you guys. I spoke with Chambers. She's talking about coming out, and I really appreciate you guys for your help. So thank you so much. I really happy. That just made my day to see your name there. So you know how far we go back, and I really appreciate it. We're family for life, and that's what happens in the military community. I really appreciate that, and I miss you, brother. So thank you so much for being out here. Also, my name is Dave Robinson, father of Geologist Daniel Robinson, and I'm here doing a Q&A for everyone who have questions, and I'll try to answer your question to the best of my ability. If there's questions I can't answer, I will let you know if it's based on investigation and things like that. So I do have a question here from Sarah Moore. Thank you again for being here. How do I get the flyers sent? Yes, with this phone number, I gave you guys the number here. It's my public cell phone number. If you can call that 803 or text 803-200-7994, we can talk about that, and you can give your address, and I can have those things sent to you wherever you want me to send them to. So yeah, I have some going to New York, and I have some going to Colorado. So that helps. That helps get the word out. Like I said again, it's very important to get information out as far as I can get them. You know what I'm saying? Because I just can't rely on the news stations and whoever. I mean, I did a lot of interviews with these news stations, to Red Table Talk, to Dr. Oz, and everything like that. But sometimes people have their limits. You know what I'm saying? Because they have ratings to deal with and things like that. But my son is not. He's a person, and I can't rely on ratings. So you guys help to, if you can. You don't have to, but I'm grateful if you can help me get the word out. So that's the only way we can do that as a team. When I say team, us, we are family. I look at you guys as my extended family, and that's the only way we can get this word out, is to put the word out ourselves. It took me 3 months, literally 3 months of hard working, stressing out to these local channels, to stressing out to the big channel. I know they gave the Gabriel Tito case credit for my son becoming national. I feel somewhat offended by that, because it took me hard work. It took me hard 3 months of work putting his story out there. It was one point where his story went viral based on the young lady's comment. Actually, she retweeted something I put out on Twitter, and it went viral. And also, like I said, they credited the Tito case to my son's story getting out. And that's a shame. First of all, to have to go through somebody else's tragedy to kind of get some kind of awareness. But I credit it to hard work. I spent many nights and many days out there, many nights and days out there, working hard. Didn't get no sleep, contacting and emailing and texting, whatever I had to do to try to get the local media to move. Again, I want to put my brother out there. Again, I'm about to say just Razine. We go by last name, but David Razine. For being here. I'm really still happy about that, seeing you out here. But thank you so much for that question. And yes, I can get those flyers out to you. Just go ahead and send me that information, and that helps a whole lot. So thank you again, Pamela Dabbs. If you get those flyers, yes, just go ahead and hit me up on that number down here below, and I can get those flyers out to you. So thank you so much and anybody else who want to help with the flyers. Also, if you help, like again, if you guys want to help and in other ways, please go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and look under that tab that says help in other ways, and fill out that form, and that'll give us an idea of ways we can tell you, to how you can help us in this endeavor. So thank you. If you could please hit that, please hit the like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Gwen. Thank you, Nu. Please donate, sign the petition. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for everything you said. Thank you for this comment. I really appreciate it. Profiling, manipulation, your strength is amazing for Daniel. I couldn't imagine having to lead an investigation in my own child's disappearance. It is hard. It's mentally hard. I have my days. You guys don't know what happens in the background, but a lot of people that's close to me do know. You knew, for instance, Gwen and Gisela of Grizzly True Crimes. You all know things that happen, and some of the others know what goes around in the background. It's very tough. It's a very tough job to put on multiple hats, trying to keep this whole thing going. I'm a guy with a lot of pride. It was hard to even try to ask for help from guys who hey, donate and things like that. But it's a need for this whole operation of my son, and it takes all of that. It takes the help from you guys, everything to keep this whole thing going. So I really grateful for you guys, because when y'all help in all kind of ways, whether it's like you say, passing out these flyers, to come out searches, to everything, all of that means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? Especially the kind words like what you're saying there, profiling, manipulation. Thank you so much for that, because that helps me go. Also helps my family, because they are here in the background. You know what I'm saying? And they rely on me to find these answers. So I'm out here. There's a lot of pressure. But I'm making it because I have my love for my son. I have my training to go by. Mr. Razine, he knows our training, and we train to. We're professional soldiers for life, and we know how to put a mission first. My son is my mission, and I'm putting him first above everything. You know what I'm saying? That's my son. I love him, and I'm gonna make sure he's okay. I have a question from Sarah. Is it true that Matrix New World is still blocking you from searching the job site he was last seen? No, that's not true. In fact, Matrix New World do not own that site where my son was last seen. They're just a company that came in. My son, what they do is Matrix New World is out there just to inspect these wells and have, if you put it in that context, they check the water volume that come out of wells. That's what they do. They make sure that's I think 100. Some people say 200 year, but I thought it was 100-year supply of water for these communities that would be built by law. They have to have so many hundreds of years of water supply coming out of well before they can build a community, and also to check the viability of the well, as in these rock settlements. Some of those rocks that's down in the water may not be good for drinking and things like that, may contaminate the water, or contaminants and things like that. So, they look for all that kind of stuff. That's what his job is. He's a field geologist, a hydrogeologist with this company. But ultimately, my son is a geologist by his education. So, no, they're not blocking anything. So I don't know where that came from. And that's why I'm glad you guys come out, and that's one of the reasons why I have this Q&A, because there's a lot of things out there that do not make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. And some things when I say that don't seem your question makes sense, it's good that you ask the question. I mean that way. What I'm saying is people go out there and come out with things that is not true. So I've been hearing things from I work for the government, and my son is not even real. Things like that. One guy had a whole YouTube channel based on that, some conspiracy theories and things like that. So that's why I was glad and able to do this Q&A for everybody, so you can get the right information. Sarah, thank you so much for your question. Again, there's no crazy question, no dumb question and all that. I don't want to make it sound like I was saying that. I'm saying there's people out there putting these stories out there that's not true. So I hear it all. I hear a whole bunch of things. Some things I just have to let roll off my back. Some things are more disturbing than others, but they're out there. So thank you for asking that question. So that way that is cleared up in the air. So you guys can go back and know the facts. No, Matrix New World has not been blocking anything. Matter of fact, they can do a little bit more, but they have been at the first part of my son was missing. Once I started my searches, like I said, they could have did more at the beginning because my son is their employee, and they should have been out there looking for him. They had the resources, so we can talk about that some other time. But when I started my searches before this vehicle was found, they had a lot of the coworkers would come out and help with searches. They'll come out and lend a hand. I still today have only one of the employees there for that company that comes out every so often, and he's my son's boss. So he's been out there helping in that endeavor. So I just want to say, yeah, definitely that's not true about them blocking anything. So wherever that came from, you can dismiss that as falsehood. So also like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate you, Gwen, for putting that up and constantly remind me to do that. And thank you, Don. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate your prayers and everything. And thank you for coming out through Facebook. Also, thank you again, Brother Razine, for your love. And I love you too, man. And thank you for being here with me. Make me feel a whole lot better. See some of my brothers at arms, my battle buddies out here. So thanks so much. I'm really grateful. I do see a question here. Are the flyers printable on the website? No. But if you, like I say, you hit the number down on the bottom, Razine, I'll give you my personal number once we talk. Yeah, you hit the number there, and we can talk about that. I can give you a template that you can use to make these flyers, because these flyers are similar to this billboard behind me, and I wish I had one close by, but they have some other information there that need to be that's added to that size, and the size had to be right because I had streamlined the size. It was about the size of paper when I first started this thing, and streamlined it because it was more geared towards the homeless population, where they can put it in their pocket, their pocketbooks or whatever, to carry along with them. Nobody want to carry a big sheet of paper with them that's laminated sheet of paper, so that was too big to be carrying around something like that. So what I did is make them big enough to be seen if you was tack them up on poles or anything, or if you want to, like say, to carry it around in your pocket or your pocketbook for the ladies, so that you guys can actually keep it with you at all times and you can remember. So thanks so much for that. All right, 12-step. I have a question here. 12-step woman. Thank you for coming in through YouTube. Question is, David Razine, are flyers printable on the website, sir? Mr. Razine, he's my better buddy, so he wouldn't know. He was asking me the question. And again, yes, it's not printable, but it's but you can get that from me. I can give you a template for that. So thank you so much for that. All right, now I'm looking forward to more questions. My name is Dave Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson, who went missing on June the 23rd from his job site in Buckeye, Arizona, and out there in the desert. He was doing his job, and he went missing according to the last person that saw him. He was out there for only like 10 minutes with them, and somehow my son supposedly makes a few statements that he thought was strange or whatever out of other. My son decided to leave. He waited out to him, got in his vehicle, and according to this guy, he drove off. He later went to go check on my son and followed some tracks on the ground. And I just want to go by the story he told me. He saw some tracks on the ground, and he followed the tracks that when he got to the T-junction, when my son should have went east to go back to the main road, he ended up going west. He said he followed him. Matter of fact, he stayed to the left side of the tracks to make sure that he didn't disturb the tracks, because he knew that eventually the police are going to come look for my son, and that this was going to be a big case. Going to be a lot of news media and things like that. So that's what the gentleman told me. He drove along the side of that tracks for a few miles. He got out of his vehicle. He opened his gate, went through this gate, and he drove out some more. He went on this top of his hill to look over he got his vehicle, started walking. He got on top of his hill. He started looking over, see if he can locate my son's vehicle from afar. He didn't see it. He said he walked a little bit more. He got back in the vehicle. He started following the track some more. He got out again and started painting these rocks red with red paint so that the officers would know where these tracks were leading. And so that's the story that he told me, but that's not the story that you guys have in the police report. But that's the story I was told by this gentleman, this guy that was at the well site. And so that's what happened to my son. He's been missing since. And almost 30 days later, the vehicle showed up here in that ravine, turned over just like that. Everything my son was wearing on his body was on the ground. My investigator that I hired had decided he's after reconstruction, and he found the damage on the vehicle didn't match the terrain. There's red transfer paint on the bottom side that's laying on the ground. There's nothing red out there in the desert other than the red paint that this gentleman said. I'm guessing he painted these rocks, so I'm not sure if that's related, but I can say that it's red transfer paint on the vehicle, and also my son is gone. His cell phone was found in the vehicle, and I can tell you when my son was missing, my family and I, we were calling that phone constantly. It would ring, ring, ring before it go to voicemail for at least almost a day. I assume the phone finally died, and then it started going straight to voicemail. So the phone was working, but somehow the Buckeye Police Department's theory is that my son wrecked his vehicle down here. He had escape injury because there's no blood in the vehicle. He had a severe head injury, and he crawled out the window. And because of his severe head injury, the brain injury, he decided to shred his clothes. I can tell you, in Afghanistan, I suffered a head injury, and I didn't shred clothes, but they saying that he shred clothes because brain injury make you hot, feel like you're hot, and you shred your clothes off. Something I haven't done yet to this day. And my son had somehow hit on a tree somewhere because he was hot. And then later they said the detectives suggested that my son maybe just wanted to be away from his family and join the monastery to become a monk. Now I can tell you a couple things about this vehicle real quick to give you some more insights. When the vehicle was found, I can tell you the glass that you see on the ground, I don't know really where it came from. Some say it came from the vehicle. That glass that's on the glass that busted out in the vehicle. The sunroof did not have a glass. So let you guys know that vehicle do not have a sunroof glass like some of your vehicles will have a glass. They only have the hatch. That's the nature of that vehicle. It do not have glass in the sunroof. It wouldn't have any. But the glass on the driver's door was busted out. Now I can tell you this, that I do know there's hardly no little to zero glass inside the vehicle. You would think that if the vehicle's right there in broken glass, it would be all over the place, would have been all over my son, but it wasn't none. Matter of fact, however that glass got busted out, my investigator felt that the door was open and it was busted out that type of way because it was away from the vehicle. It wasn't glass in the vehicle. So, that's another thing you need to ask yourself questions about. So I do have more questions here. I'm doing a Q&A for everybody who has questions. That's what this is for, to bring awareness and also to let you know what's going on in my son's case. So here's another question from Baby Girl 12. Thank you again for coming out from YouTube. Do you know what podcast Caitlin sent to Daniel? I used to know the name of it sometimes, some type of way. It keeps slipping my mind to actually the name. I think you may know the answer to that one. If you can remember that, or Gwen, y'all can remember that. Can you please put that out? But no, I can't remember that name. I can tell you I did look at it, and it has no reference to my son going missing. It was actually inspirational podcast, how you can better think about life and things like that. So I don't see how they had any relations to my son, disappearance and things like that. So yeah, I hear about the podcast, but the only thing I can say that podcast or giving that podcast to him would actually help you guys to understand how much extent they talked. Because for a person to say, hey, I only met him one night and it was just like that and blah, 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 you wouldn't give a person a podcast. You wouldn't even care about, any kind of thing like that, giving them some type of podcast. There's more to their story than what you guys read in that. And I can tell you that, than what you guys read into something she put up on the one-sided hearsay that they allow. Now think about this. This department is almost like going to anybody in the street, witness, and say, hey, what did you see? And they say, oh, I saw this, and they didn't vet it at all. And they just tell this person, well, I'll tell you what you just told me, I need you to write this in our report. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much that's what happened. They had her to upload this information exactly how she wanted into this report. And that's what you guys read. What happened on my son's side, that is not a report, of course. His phone record is not a report. That would tell you, hey, this don't match what's on that report and things like that. So no, the podcast and things like that, I don't know the name of it, but I can tell you that it was inspirational more than anything. It wasn't anything cultish about it, or in my opinion, just more of that type thing, just kind of help out where you think about life. So stuff like that. I'm not subscribing to that, and I'm not advocating for it and things like that, because I don't watch podcasts and things like that. But I can tell you that when I did briefly watched it, it was nothing to it. No substance or thing that would put alarms there, say, oh, my son went to go join a monastery and become a monk or something. No, you wouldn't see anything even spoken about that in that podcast. So thanks so much for that question. I have another question here. Profiling and manipulation. Has anybody tried tagging Brian Enton? I apologize for the last name. We could organize a Twitter storm for media attention. Is anybody familiar with those? I'd happily arrange it. I don't know who that is, and I don't know what he does, but anything that can help bring awareness to my son's case and help any type of way, I'm all for that. You know what I'm saying? But as long as it's anything that's definitely, like I say, would benefit me finding my son, what happened to my son and things like that, and getting more awareness. Yes, I have some answers, but I can always use more answers and more clues. So you guys can, if you know somebody that can help in those type, they're willing to help. Yes, I'm willing to talk to them also. So thanks so much. Thank you, Gisela, for putting this out. If you can volunteer, please sign up here. Please help find Daniel.com. Thank you so much for putting that out. Gisela K from Grizzly True Crime. Thank you so much for doing that. All the information can be found on please help find Daniel.com, how you can help in this effort to find my son. Okay, I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson, who was missing on June 23rd. For those who just came on, I'm doing a Q&A, answering the questions that you may have about my son's case. Thank you so much for joining. All right, I have a question here from Lawrence. What was not found? Did Matrix New World recover their well equipment? Question. Okay, the well equipment. I don't know what well equipment. I just know my son did have some equipment that he uses to. Of course, that's the reason why the other guy was there from Weber. He's the guy that I guess they ought to drill that well itself, or like I said, that well was capped, and maybe he was there also to uncap it. So, but I do know that equipment-wise, my son do have, and I'm sure that equipment should still be in that vehicle. I instructed my then investigator not to remove anything out that vehicle. Even I know that majors have been questioning, asking for certain things that my son may have in that vehicle. I told him not to give it to them, because it's part of the investigation. And so I'm assuming, like I told everybody before, I only seen that vehicle twice so far. I seen it when the Buckeye Police Department showed it to me the day after that vehicle was found was taken from the scene. When they showed it to me out there behind their police compound, and the second time was the last part ending of last year when my investigator had to go look at that vehicle at the facility that it's currently at, security facility. I didn't touch it, wasn't near it. Of course, we have cameras there to document everything. This is a place where vehicles like that are stored. So I haven't seen it for chain of custody reason, of course, for other reasons, so investigation. But I can tell you that those items and things like that should always still be there. So hopefully when my new investigator look at those things, come down, look at those things, he can inventory what's in there and what's not, and things like that. So, all right. I have another question here from baby girl. Baby girl, 8012. So if I say this wrong, baby girl lad 12. Did any neighbors confirm seeing Daniel leave for work that day? No, they did tell me one neighbor that I interviewed who lived across the building across from my son. He talked to my son, I think a day or two before he went missing. The man upstairs above him, he the one alerted me that the gentleman and my son do hang out a lot there, each other's apartment, playing video games and things like that. So, but as in, no, in the neighbors and stuff like that, no, nobody I know so far would say, hey, I seen him leave for work that day. Because, Daniel do leave to go to work early in the morning. He did go to 2 well sites that day. He went to the first one early that morning. Then he ended up at the second one. I was told roughly around 9 o'clock, so or closer to 9 o'clock. So that's the times. My son got up early. Now, I do have information that suggests other things happened before the night before my son went missing. So that'll be consistent with the investigation I'm doing personally. The answer that I do have. So thank you so much for that question. All right, if you guys have any questions, please put the word question first, and then after you put the word question, then ask your question. That way I can go down timeline and actually see it because I'm scrolling down. I have people, moderators in the chat that will answer some questions for you or give you information that you may need. They are there to help me whenever I miss something. But like I said, for me, to ask the question is a Q&A. For the question, that's all I'm looking for. So if you guys put the word question there first, and just like this one right here from baby girl again, put the word question there or Q, and let me know that you were asking the question. I can actually go down the timeline and see it. If I miss it somehow still, please ask again. It happens sometimes, and I really apologize for that, but I'll go to it and get it. Have you been able to search his social media for any signs of online bullying? I'm not for bullying. Of course, my investigator and also Buckeye saying they're monitoring his online things that go on online still to this day. So we just keep continuing to monitor those things, see if we see any signs of anything. So at this point, no, I cannot say anything about that. I don't know any signs of bullying or anything like that. So thank you so much for that question. Again, for being here and your support. Thank you, everybody, for being here. If you can, please, again, like, share, and subscribe. That help the algorithm in this on this channel, so I can get the word out. That's the whole name of this game, is to get the word out and the awareness for my son's case. I can't keep the media attention on this case because, like I say, media have to sell stories, and once the story becomes, I guess, old and since expired in terms of media coverage and things like that, whether it's news, and it dies, you know what I'm saying? But you know what? My son is still here. He still need to be found, and I'm still here trying to find him. So we have to keep the story alive, and I'm depending on you guys. I'm just one man, and you guys have been invested in helping me, and I'm really grateful for each and every last one of you for doing so. So thank you so much for doing that and being a part. So God bless you for that and helping me get the word out. So it's very important to do so. If you guys can help in any kind of way, spread the word, tell your neighbors and friends. Word of mouth is very important, so, and very strong. So thank you so much. All right, baby girl again, 12. Has Roger been helpful in sharing any information or the searches? Well, Roger is one of the guys, was a friend of mine, Daniel's, I'm sorry, a friend of Daniel's from his job. Now, I have seen him at searches before when we first, like I said, the workers from Matrix would get together. And I don't know if it was a company directive or, like I said, just the workers got together and say, hey, we want to come out to the searches. They used to come out at one point, at least for about a few months, about a month or two at the beginning of my searches, a few months, probably a little more than that. But they since then dropped off for months now, except for one, and that's his boss. He'll come from time to time. I haven't seen Roger in a long time. I haven't spoken with him, and but he was interviewed by my last then investigator, my former investigator, and also he's been interviewed by the Buckeye Police Department. So what was told, I do not know. Still, I'm still waiting on certain reports and things like that. So I don't have the answer to that one. Just that for any kind of information that he could have shared a lot better. He did put some things out in that report, police report. So those are things that were said. So if you guys read that report, police report. So thanks so much for that question. All right, again, my name is David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. It's getting close to time where I had to end this Q&A. Of course, you can understand I have a really busy, full schedule days. And but I'm seeing you to have these Q&As, so you guys come on when I do have them and ask your question. If you didn't get your question today, you always can come back and with your question on the next Q&A, and I'll get to those too. So thank you so much for that. But I have another question here from baby girl again. Has Instacart been able to provide you any information about Dane's delivery? I'm still waiting on Instacart right now. I'm waiting on them. Of course, I reached out to them. And some of those things sometimes may take some type of warrant or something like that. I'm not sure, because a lot of phone companies and stuff like that, they are like that also. So that's one of those things. Like I said, just have to wait and see. You can ask. Saying one thing I learned a long time ago, you can always ask people things, and the only thing they can do is say yes or no. So that's my approach to those things, try to get information. So just ask and we'll see. Tina Biggs, thank you for being out here on YouTube. You had a question here. Have you considered a psychic? No, I have not. I can tell you I'm really grateful for everybody who helped in any form and any fashion. However, me personally, I don't subscribe to psychics and things like that, mediums and that kind of stuff. I don't have belief structure on that type thing. I'm not discouraging anybody if they feel they have some type of gifts and things like that. By all means, if they want to help, I encourage that. Thank you so much for helping. But for me personally, no, I do not subscribe to those things. But I do thank everybody for their help. So thank you so much for asking your question. I really appreciate you for being here. Again, I'm David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Robinson went missing on June 23rd. I'm doing a Q&A. If you guys have questions, put the word question there first. Then you come with your question after that, and I can get to it as I'm going down the comment section. The lost ones, thank you again for being here. We're all of the windows and flip down sun visors accounted for in the Jeep. Because I found a shattered Jeep windshield and blue-gray sun visor from the Jeep about a half mile from the crash site. I have to look at that. I think I heard someone say that once before, as in the sun visor been missing and things like that. I was told by my investigator, like I said, that lets you know how close I was to the vehicle. I haven't really detailed. I go by pictures and things. My investigator shared with me, former investigator shared with me, as in the contents of the vehicle and things like that. And one thing he said was that nothing was missing, like the panels. We may find panels and things like that out there in the desert. We found all kind of stuff, backup lights and stuff. The lights and stuff, all the lights and stuff was intact. I can't see that on the vehicle, but outside the vehicle I can see everything like that. But as in the sun visor, I'm not sure if it's accounted for. I will find that out once my new PI gets down here to look at the vehicle. I would ask those kind of questions. Like I said, I try to stay away from the vehicle. I'm trying to get the forensics work done on it and things like that. So, and you say you found the shattered windshield. I can tell the windshield is intact. Well, not intact on this vehicle, but it's smashed, but it's there. And so the windshield is not missing. And so that wouldn't be part of my son's vehicle. Only glass that's missing on that vehicle is the driver's door. And of course, there's glass on the ground. I can tell you that glass on the ground is very suspect because, you guys, you go out there now, of course, people have been picking on it and kicking it around and everything else. But originally it wasn't there like that. It was pretty much intact in the sense, not really intact, but it was smashed. of course, shredded, but it was in a perfect square shape of a window shape in a sense. And that is not normal. You know what I'm saying? If you think about that, that glass would have been all over the place. First of all, some would be in the vehicle, but it was like literally perfectly landed on the ground in the shape of how it would look on inside a window or something, you know. And but it was smashed up, of course. And to me, when I look at it, I see it was placed down there, smashed to give the appearance that this glass came from that that driver's door. And, you know, door glass. Like I said, none of that glass drive door was inside the vehicle. Glass on the outside the vehicle on that ground. But since then, people have been tracking over that scene, been tracking over it. And you even have people go out there to get souvenirs. Hey, I got some of that glass. You know, they take it home with them for whatever reason. They just want souvenirs, and they take the glass with them. So the glass is being manipulated in all kind of ways. But originally, no, it didn't look like that. It was actually shaped like, you know, like for instance, somebody takes something, put it ground and smash it down like that shape where it's located. Yeah, it's that way. So I can't tell you the windshield is accounted for. So thank you so much for your question. I have one here from Facebook. Nikki, thank you so much for being here this morning and showing your love. Did any cameras at Daniel's work site actually see him getting into his truck or driving off? Could a coworker been driving his vehicle away? Nikki, the work site that my son went missing from was out there in the desert. They didn't have any structure and things like that, like a building or thing like that. It's just a well that is sitting in the middle of the ground, in the middle of nowhere, where they, I guess, in the past when they first built those wells, they've been trying to build communities out there in that area since the 80s. And it's been a long time. Those wells were built back then, trying to get communities out that direction. They just call that Sun Valley Parkway is a road to nowhere. It's a nickname for it because there wasn't nothing out there. It was just a road there in the middle of the desert. And so, like I said, they were trying to build communities out there in the 80s. And so that well was built way back then. And they capped it. They capped the wells because the communities were going to come out there. And so they've been all capped. And so now, in this last year, they uncapped them. And my son and that gentleman the guy was at the well site that day, but there was no cameras there outside, you know, things on his cell phone or something like that, but no cameras there on the scene. There was no structures there for them to be under. My son often carried his canopy. He had a canopy that he keep with him. Matter of fact, people hear that story about the canopy he left at the young lady's house. That canopy, he uses that as a job site to block the sun. That's on the structure he'll have out there at well sites, because in the middle of nowhere, it's sitting in the middle on the ground somewhere, where the wells look. And so no, there was no cameras there. I can tell you that there was infrastructure, because a lot of power lines that runs through there, infrastructure there that should have cameras. But I checked with these power companies. They have yet to get back to me. They keep saying, "Oh, I'm gonna get back to you." They have never done it. But we did try to locate in the cameras on the way, the area between where my son was last seen to where the vehicle right here was found. Is, like I said, infrastructure, and we tried to check that infrastructure to see if there's some cameras, which we thought it would be, because it's infrastructure. Somebody take that out, it'll take out electricity for communities and everything else. So I don't know why they even don't have that really monitored the best way. But you have another question here. Have they searched all the wells at Daniel's work site? They searched, no. The answer to that would be really no. I do know Buckeye claimed they searched a well, and that was pretty much a photo op, in my opinion, because there's a well that we have near where his vehicle was found. There's a well near the corral that the rancher was saying those cattle was going to. There's a well there. They did this photo op there, in my opinion, which we already checked that well about 2 or 3 months before they did that photo op that day, when the media was giving the pressure of them to check these wells, right? And so they put the picture there and say, "Hey, look at us, we're checking this well." And they have their hand like they sticking the camera down into the well, you know, that type of deal. So they could put some on social media. But no, in my opinion, no, they even came out under my request to check the well. They showed me the picture. Oh, we've been out here before. We checked this well, but they're talking about that photo op well. And Lieutenant Angel on live. I was on live with the Grizzly True Crimes community, and he admitted they never did check the well where Daniel went missing. So no, they have not checked that well. They have not checked the well that I ended up having them check that day, which is north. The well that's north of the one that my son was last seen at. They checked that one, but they came with the camera crew guys who brought a camera that can't even be submerged underwater. They checked the surface of the water. They didn't go in the water to check what's in the water. So, you know, things sink. So that need to be checked, but they didn't do that. And that's the reason why I'm checking these wells myself. Everything I say, you guys, and I'm depending on you guys to help me. Everything that hadn't been done, like I say, forensics on this vehicle from day one. This is their picture, Buckeye Police picture. They didn't have, you don't see any crime tape or any markers or anything, because they didn't do any forensic work there. I'm seeing they told me that. I had a witness there and recorded meeting with them, but they told me they haven't done any forensic work on the scene. And I requested at that meeting that they do it. I demanded them do fingerprinting. They did it a day or two after that meeting, and so you see that in their report. I demanded that, and that's the reason why they did the fingerprinting. Now, I have a question here from Chloe. Were you afraid when you transported his vehicle to storage while searching, etc.? Have you feel like you were being watched or something like that? I didn't transport that vehicle from the police department to the storage or to the place, the facility that is at right now. So that was done by my former investigator, private investigator, because it had to be done in a certain way. You know, of course, chain of custody and the way it had to be removed. Those guys do it. I stay away from that vehicle as much as possible. Like I told you again, I only seen that vehicle twice, and that was when Buckeye showed it to me and when my investigator showed it to me. So, you know, I have been on the closest I've been that vehicle is with the Buckeye Police Department, which I was standing at least about 2 to 3 feet away from that vehicle when that detective that day was trying so hard to get me to touch that vehicle for whatever reason, to go in there, look in there, to touch the airbags. He kept, you know, hey, go open this door. Hey, look in there. But, you know, I couldn't touch the vehicle because I was stunned. So, but when my investigator went out there, we went to go look at the vehicle, but he had to do some things. Yes, I was. It's inside an area where I could stand outside the inspection area and look at it from afar. So no, I have not been close to that vehicle since they moved it from the Buckeye Police Department or anything like that. So and say, while searching, have you feel like you've been watched or something like that? No, I really don't. You know, I'm not a paranoid guy. You know, I don't worry about things like that. You know, only thing I'm focused on is finding my son. That's important to me. Everything outside of that, I don't care. If somebody watching and things like that, that don't bother me at all. Have a question here from Sarah. YouTube, thank you so much. Do you think that whatever happened to Daniel has something to do with the water project he was involved with? I ask because I have looked into the water aspects of this lot, and it's been interesting. You know, again, I hear that a lot, and I definitely, I say it over and over again, I look at everything. I mean, everything, every possibility, whether it's human trafficking to whatever. I look at all of that. You know, saying I rule nothing out. I do have enough information to have an idea of what happened. I just need to tie some things in. But yes, I definitely look into everything. I just put it that way. And that's one of the things I look into also. Even looked into in the past, for instance, retaliation. You know, because at the time my son did do when the George Floyd thing was going on, the police brutality protest, and you know he did an interview with the local news here, and you know, so some people think that hey, it was some retaliation because there was. The Justice Department had to come into the Phoenix Police Department. I'm sure all the other ones too, because they were doing some things, charging people with being criminal charges for no reason, calling them gang members and all kind of stuff. And it was actually even going up to people's houses, intimidating them, things like that. So things was going on at the time. So all of that was in question too. So thanks so much for your question. All right, I have another question from baby girl, 12. Is it true that Daniel made some changes to his appearance style before he went missing? Maybe peer pressure from anyone. Yes, Daniel often do that. He'll wear his hair long sometimes. He'll wear his hair short sometimes. That was going on years before my son went missing. It's nothing unusual for him to change his hairstyle. However, Daniel was really enjoying for a while his hair limp. So when he decided to cut it off, some people take it as, oh yeah, man, that's very quick the way he did that. But like I said, Daniel, I seen him when I smile, I kind of, because I know the things I talked to him about. We have this thing with me and my sons about lineups. I don't have any hair on my head. I keep my hair shaved, but I sure enough about making sure you keep your hair lined up, and they know how I am about that. So, but he definitely would change his hairstyle all the time. I see him come down to South Carolina with long hair, one length of hair, doing some dread type deal or whatever they call the thing, twist or whatever they do, and to having his hair not bald but very short cut like you see on the poster back there. So yes, he changes his hairstyles often. So this time was nothing unusual about it, in my opinion. But maybe pressure for anyone, I don't know. I'm looking into that too. Like I said, I don't rule anything out. So whatever pressure that you may mean on that, I don't know. I haven't seen anything about anybody pressuring him into anything. So thank you so much for your question on that. Again, my name is Dave Robinson. I'm doing this Q&A. I was looking at I'm going over my time, hour and 40 minutes. And I really thank you guys for coming out to join me on this Q&A. Again, you guys, if you got a tip, anything, please hit the anonymous tip line. There's 24 hours, 7 days a week live operators take your tip. You can remain anonymous. And also, if you don't want to talk to anybody, you can also remain anonymous by texting the word tip to that number, and the form will come up. And, like I say, you can also correspond with me through that tip line. But please do not use the tip line to give me things that you ask here, like give me advice or advice how to search or who I need to speak to, what organization, or to things like that. Use this number here, the 803-200-7994 number for that. You have comments, suggestions, and things like that I can better search. That's what I look for. I need all the answers I can. I even reach out to John Walsh's people constantly to see if I can pick his brain. They have not reached back out to me. I did get inside contact information for them. Still waiting on them to at least say something, hello or something, because he had a missing son too. He's going through the same thing I have, and I would love to learn how to better search and things like that. How he got his success to find the son. Unfortunately, the way he found the son was really bad, but ultimately he was able to. So all those information you guys need, please go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com for those information, how you can help. Those who cannot physically help, how you can help in other ways, to donation. All that is on that website. Upcoming events, you can hit the events tab, because I do have a kind of like vigil that's coming up on the Saturday on the 12th. Please, y'all, if you can squeeze that into your schedule somehow. It's only for an hour and a half. You guys can come out here and show yourself in numbers out there to that Senate lawn out there here downtown Phoenix, Arizona. Please do so, and please go on the website to sign up RSVP, because that way I can know who's coming, how many people coming, so I can provide those candles and the ribbons and things like that. So we want to keep tab of that. Who all can be there, kind of get a number, but I need a big presence. I need to make a big statement, because it's not just about my son and it's just my family in the case, but it's about everybody who have a missing person, because the way that my son's case has been treated, a lot of families' case has been treated like that, and that's the reason why, this is the reason why it's been 8 months that I'm still out here looking for my son, because of the non-caring, in my opinion, the non-action, not taking it seriously and not taking it urgently. They're still not taking it seriously, in my opinion, because look what they're doing. I don't see any agencies out there looking for my son like they do in some of these other cases with helicopters they got, and all the dollars, all those thousands of dollars of manpower. People look at the GoFundMe that I have so far, that I've been utilizing from day one to keep this operation going. And that number only shows how much has been collected to date, but it don't show all the money that's been put out for to keep this thing going. But for that case, for that one guy, for the one man, not the young lady, but the one man who was the murderer, who turned out to be a murderer and killed himself, they spent the money that I've collected so far in 1 day searching for this guy. 1 or 2 days, that was it. So the money has been spread out for 8 months looking for my son. And, and they not having come out here in the Buckeye, haven't spent money like that on my son. No other agencies have spent money like that on my son. And my son is important. Had this been one of their officers' vehicles sitting out here in this ravine, and they couldn't find that officer for almost 30 days, every force in the United States would have been out there searching for that officer. I need my son to be treated the same way. But no officer in this world is more valuable than my son. They're all the same. They're human beings. Nobody should be treated differently. Nobody should be treated with some prestige because of their, title or whatever the case may be. He's a human being. He's a citizen. He's a contributor to society. He's loved by his family. He loves by me, and that's the reason why I'm out here. And I really thank you guys again for coming out, sharing your time with me for this Q&A. I will be out here again. I'm not sure if I'm doing it tomorrow morning, but I will probably do it the next day. But I will be doing some type of Q&A and things like that. So I thank you for sharing your time with me. I love you all. I really, from the bottom of my heart, love each and every one of you for supporting and helping me for my cause. Please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to this channel that helped me out the algorithm. Thank you. God bless you.